Hey, welcome everyone to another edition of Real Estate Talk. I'm joined today by Isaac Camacho from Accurate Termite and Pest Control. This is our preferred vendor in that field. We work with them a lot on our listings for our sellers. And this is a two-part series. And this first episode I'm doing with Isaac, we're going to be talking about just general good practices to avoid bigger issues with, termite or pest control in general. And then we'll have another next follow-up episode is going to be about new rodent laws in California, right?
Yeah, great. It's exciting to be with you, Karim. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much. So, lead the way.
Yeah, so I think that what happens as a homeowner is you tend to become reactive when it comes to pest control. It's one of those things that you tend to see as, well, if I don't see a problem, I don't have a problem. Mm-hmm. However, there are some pitfalls, right, in having sort of a reactive approach in any kind of maintenance in your house, whether it's plumbing or anything. Just waiting to be reactive is going to have some drawbacks.
Okay. Number
one is termites swarm twice a year here in Southern California. So that means if you're not inspecting once a year for termites, then you don't know what's happening.
Okay.
Termites don't come to your door, knock, and say, "Hey, just want to let you know we're here now." So it's happening without you knowing, right?
Okay.
And there's a misconception that if I'm not seeing the swarming and the wings, then they're not here anymore. But termites, when they infest a wood member, they eat it all throughout before they move. They're not like us. They don't need a big menu. If they find a piece of wood, they're gonna eat it whole.
Okay. What are some things that if one of the homeowners would see, what are some red flags basically?
Red flags would be, the most obvious is swarming. Swarming is a 5-alarm red flag. Okay. Because that means a colony has outgrown the space it's in.
Okay.
That means that you have a colony where the queen has said, we don't fit, go, let's split up, you go over here and you go over there.
Okay.
5-alarm red flag. And then there's some minor red flags, I should say, like seeing wings or things on your windowsill. If you see the wings there, you see the droppings, like the sand, if you're noticing some of that, the termite droppings along your door jambs, you should definitely call an expert right away. And of course, if you see damage to your wood, anytime your wood is soft or damaged, it means something's consuming it, right? It doesn't happen on its own. So those would be pretty big red flags that I would look for.
Okay, perfect. So going back to being proactive instead of reactive, what are some ways people can be proactive about avoiding?
It's a good practice to have your home inspected by a professional termite inspector once a year.
Okay.
It's very inexpensive, and then you're catching the problems before they happen.
Okay.
That's a great practice. Some companies will, even if you're doing the pest control like ants and spiders with them, they give you a break on termite as well, and people just aren't taking advantage of that. The other thing is that goes often overlooked is rodent control maintenance. Rodents, again, they don't want to interact with us. They're skittish, they're fearful, so they're living around us, staying away from us, and if they're doing a good enough job, they can also create structural damage. They can eat through wires, HVAC, those kinds of things, and it may be happening without you knowing. So another good practice is to make sure you have a rodent inspection at minimum once a year.
Okay. Perfect. So now, in the real estate transaction, this was just more of, if you're a homeowner, here are some things you should do. From a real estate transaction standpoint, sellers are typically asked by the buyer. We always ask it for our buyers, for the seller to provide a termite report, and that's most sellers do that once they're in escrow. It's not a bad idea. We have a lot of our sellers do it up front. Because then you know if there's any issue, it can be addressed before you put the house on the market or throughout, but at least you're aware of what the issues are. one thing you do not want is to have to fumigate when the house is on the market. Right?
Yeah.
And fumigate, for those that don't know, is when you have a colored tent, usually yellow and
Yeah, it looks like
blue.
a
And
circus tent,
anyway,
yeah.
it's I'm sure you've seen it. We'll put a picture on here. But you do not want to be having to fumigate the house when it's on the market. Right?
Absolutely. That's one of the things that we love about working with the Wahba group is the expert knowledge and knowing that that's something that's better done up front. I've seen so many times how a professional team like the Wahba group saves so much in headache and in these delays because they did it up front. So you're absolutely right about that.
Guys, I hope this was helpful to you. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. We will pass the questions along to the experts and we'll have them respond. But if you have any questions, definitely reach out. Or if you'd like Accurate's contact information for pest control needs, whatever they are at any point, please, we'll happily provide it. Thank you. Thank you very
Karim.
much.
Great to be with you.